Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because, well, we're about to explore some seriously groundbreaking data. It's going to fundamentally change how you understand your own mind. If you've ever felt like your attention is just constantly slipping or you're always getting distracted, you are in the exact right place. So let's dive right in. We're going to unpack this brilliant piece of neuroscience that reveals a shockingly simple yet profoundly effective way to permanently rewire your brain's attentional circuitry. And honestly, the absolute best part is that it doesn't require years of monk-like discipline.
So let me ask you this. What if distraction is actually caused by focusing way too much? I know, it sounds completely backward, right? I mean, we've basically all been conditioned to believe that distraction is just a total failure to focus. We tend to think our brains are just, wandering off, completely unable to lock onto a target. But the source material for today's explainer reveals that this assumption is actually backwards in a lot of cases. The data suggests distraction isn't a lack of focus at all. Instead, your distractibility might exist precisely because your brain is focusing with way too much intensity on the wrong things.
To really get how this works, we need to introduce the main antagonist of our attention span. It's called the attentional blink. Basically, an attentional blink happens when you're looking for something or you're super intensely focused on a task, and because you are over-focusing on that one specific thing, your brain literally blinks, just like an eye blink but in your brain. And in that split second, you completely miss other vital information in your environment. Honestly, we do this all the time. Your brain's processing bandwidth just gets entirely eaten up by whatever you're hyper-fixated on, and it leaves these massive blind spots in your overall awareness.
Now, what's incredibly fascinating is looking at exactly who experiences these attentional blinks the most. It happens in children, it happens in adults, and it notably spikes in older adults who are facing age-related cognitive decline. But take a look at that third point on the list. People with ADHD. This is a massive paradigm shift, guys. For years, the standard way of describing ADHD was simply that people with it just cannot focus. But we all know they actually can hyper-focus on things they really care about. The research now backs up this super exciting possibility. People with ADHD aren't failing to focus. They are actually experiencing significantly more attentional blinks. They are over-focusing on certain elements and totally missing the other elements they should be catching.
Moving on to Section 2. The power of panoramic vision, bypassing the soda straw.
All right, so how do we actually fix this over-focusing problem? Well, we need to tap into something called open monitoring. Now, usually we'd associate a term like that with, decades of intense meditation. But it turns out, our biology gives us a brilliant little shortcut. It has to do with how we use two totally distinct modes of visual processing. Let's look at the soda straw view first. When you're highly excited or really zoned in on something, your vision physically narrows. It's like you're looking through a literal soda straw. You get incredible, high-definition attention on that one spot, but you completely miss your surroundings. Then we have panoramic vision. This is actually controlled by an entirely separate stream of neural circuits running from your eyes straight into your brain. When you consciously dilate your gaze, when you soften your eyes to take in the whole panorama, you aren't just getting a wider view. This separate neural circuit literally operates at a higher frame rate. It processes reality better in time, which allows you to detect way more information incredibly fast.
Actually, you know what? You can do this right now. Let's try it together. No matter where you're sitting or standing right now, without turning your head at all, just relax your eyes. Keep looking straight ahead toward whatever screen you're watching this on, but consciously dilate your gaze. Try to become aware of the ceiling way up above you, the floor down below you, and the walls way out to your left and your right. Boom. You are now in open monitoring. It's literally that easy. And it doesn't matter if you wear contacts or glasses or have perfect vision, you can consciously toggle your brain from that stressful soda straw view right into this relaxed, panoramic open gaze anytime you want.
Okay, so the big takeaway here is that we know we can manually toggle panoramic vision on and off to soak in more information. But how do we make this our brain's default setting? Like, how do we permanently train our underlying neural circuitry to drastically reduce those attentional blinks we just talked about so we can finally stop missing crucial information in our daily lives?
That brings us to Section 3, the 17-minute brain rewire, the interoception protocol.
This is where the science gets incredibly exciting. Researchers have managed to identify a highly specific yet shockingly simple practice that directly attacks these attentional blinks. It's a method that actually trains your brain to maintain that open monitoring state, improving your everyday focus in a near-permanent way. And the magic number for this? 17. The published literature reveals that this whole practice takes exactly 17 minutes. You absolutely do not need to go on some silent mountain retreat, you don't need a crazy lifestyle overhaul, and honestly, you don't even need to become a regular meditator. Just 17 minutes of your time is literally all it takes to trigger this neural rewiring.
So, what are we doing for those 17 minutes? The core of this practice relies on a concept called interoception. Now, interoception is simply the act of paying deep attention to your own internal state. Think of it as the inward-facing equivalent of that panoramic vision we just practiced a minute ago. Instead of taking in the physical room around you, you are registering the feeling of your own breathing. Or you're just noticing the physical contact of your skin resting heavily against your chair or the floor. It is entirely about turning down the visual information coming in from the outside and cultivating a very quiet internal awareness.
Let's break down exactly how you actually do this, step by step. Step 1. Just sit quietly with your eyes closed for about 15 to 17 minutes. Step 2. Don't try to force your mind into any kind of special, mystical state. Just think about your breathing and focus on your interoception, literally just noticing how your physical body feels in that exact moment. And step 3, if your mind drifts off, which it for sure will, just gently bring it back. That's really it. I know it might not sound like some super intense, highly unusual practice, and you might even be sitting there doubting if it could have any real impact, but I promise you, the data tells a completely different story.
Because the absolute most astounding part of all this research comes down to one number: 1. A massive, long-lasting reduction in attentional blinks has been shown to exist after just one single session of this quiet, 17-minute interoception protocol. You literally do this practice one time and it upgrades your focus in a near-permanent way, with absolutely zero additional training required. It's incredible.
The transformation before and after this practice is completely night and day. Before, subjects were suffering from high attentional blinks, age-related cognitive drift, and that super narrow, stressful soda straw view of the world. But after just one 17-minute session of focusing inward, the number of attentional blinks drops significantly. And it gets better. Studies are actively exploring how this simple 17-minute resting practice can actually offset age-related cognitive decline, essentially locking in and preserving your working memory as you get older. Basically, by practicing this internal open monitoring, your brain becomes vastly better at external open monitoring the second you open your eyes and step back into the real world. You are literally training your brain's hardware to process a massive sequence of information without glitching out.
Which leads us to Section 4, Focus for the Future, Taking Control of Your Internal State. You know, the true beauty of this research is that it totally levels the playing field for all of us. It doesn't matter if you're a child or an adult, whether you have an ADHD diagnosis or not, or whether you're currently experiencing a bit of cognitive decline or just want to prevent it down the road, this biological mechanism applies to your brain. To sum it all up, this is a seriously powerful tool that works the very first time, and it works every single time. And yeah, while the exact granular mechanics of exactly how an internal breathing focus maps onto external visual tracking is still a tiny bit of a mystery to researchers, the measurable effects are undeniable. They're huge, they're long-lasting, and they offer a highly accessible way for literally anyone to upgrade their brain's hardware.
Which brings us to the absolute most important question of this entire explainer. If a mere 17 minutes of sitting quietly and just feeling your breath could permanently rewire how you see the world, dramatically boost your everyday focus, and actually protect your mind as you age, when are you going to sit down for your first session? The science is incredibly clear. The barrier to entry is basically zero, and the power to control your own attention is quite literally right inside of you. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible data. Have a highly focused day.